Hi there, I'm Nobukumalo. It's good to have you here. If it's your first time here, welcome. You're very welcome. And if you're coming back, thank you for your continued support and welcome back. If you're not yet subscribed, please do the right thing by clicking the subscribe button and making sure you join this family and community. Today's topic is something that is very dear to my heart, and I'll tell you why. So I am an attorney. I'm an attorney, a solicitor, as they call it here in the UK. And I qualified in September of 2022 after a 2-year period of my training contract, which in some places is called articles. And I remember my very first day, it was right smack down into lockdown, and I was starting work stuck in a room alone, doing everything via Zoom with no in-person contact with my colleagues or my then supervisor. You know, when you're coming from uni and you're a straight A student, you think, I know exactly what is required of me and I'm about to rock this thing. And I remember the first few weeks with orientation, well, fair and fine, it was easy. I mean, it's just Zooms and just, participating here and there. And then comes the real work, and you need to now start showing, your work. And I remember thinking I have no idea what I'm doing here. And this was hard for me. Remember, I'm saying this is from someone who is a distinction student. I have gotten distinctions right from my undergrad right until my master's. So I feel I'm smart, at least intellectually enough, to know what is expected of me. But when I actually sit in that room right in front of the computer and I actually had work that needed me to do, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. And so many times I would do some work, send it back, and then comes back with lots and lots of feedback. And I feel like, what does this mean? That I don't know what I'm doing? What can I do better? What am I doing wrong? And it was just a whole host of emotions. And so I thought, thinking back to that time, that maybe there are things that I wish someone has told me when I was starting off in corporate. A lot of people, there's a lot of material out there about what to do when you're starting out in business, when you're starting your business, but not so much material about us corporate people. How do you navigate the workspace as a junior when you're starting off in corporate? How do you, make sure you set yourself apart and make sure you set yourself for success in that role? And so I have here with me in this video, I'll be sharing you 5 principles that I learned through my 2 and a bit years of corporate that I hope will be helpful to someone who's navigating corporate as a junior, as a first timer in corporate, or you just moved to another company and you're trying to navigate the space. Number 1, show your work. It's not enough to just produce great work. You have to make sure that the right people will notice it. And this is particularly an issue, I think, with women in the workspace. Men are known for blowing their own horns and making sure that everyone knows what an incredible job that they're doing. But somehow for us women, we're a bit more timid because, the titles that are given to women who are bold in the workspace, we're told to be aggressive, or we're told that we're trying to be a man and all those. And so I find that a lot of us women will shy away from that sort of being bold and assertive about the type of work that we're doing. So practically, how do you do this? Number 1, after doing a task, ask for feedback, written feedback from all the people you've worked with. That way, if there's anything good, you can send it to your supervisor. Number 2, take ownership of tasks. In a project, there's usually going to be a lot of people working on it. Take ownership of the part of the task that you did and make sure that people know that you contributed to this particular part. Number 3, report on what you've done regularly. So sometimes your supervisor might not always be the person you're working on different projects. Make sure that you schedule in time to let them in and to let them know of the work that you're doing for other people, so that even when they're coming to your appraisal, they know that they've other people that you worked with that they can ask for feedback from. And finally, take credit for your work. If someone says good job, if someone wants to give you credit, take it. Don't downplay your part or your role in any given piece of work. And then number 2, make your boss's job easier. When I was starting off, one associate said to me, whenever you're taking on some work, or whenever you're thinking about how you can be helpful, think of the structure this way. Remember, I'm an attorney, so this is a law firm structure. You as a trainee, the associate is your boss. As an associate, the managing associate is your boss. And as the managing associate, the partner is their boss. And as a partner, the client, the external client, is their boss. So you continuously have to think about, what can I do to make my boss's job easier? So by boss, I don't just mean your principal or your supervisor, But like I said, in the line of work, in the project that you're doing, the person that you're reporting to, the person who is one step ahead of you, think about how you can make their job easy. It's your responsibility to make sure that you have a very, very solid relationship with your supervisor or your boss, because they're the person who's going to speak up for you when you're not there. They're the person who's going to decide your progression. And so if you're a good boss and you make their job easier, then you're set. And how do you make your boss's job easy? Get to know them better. What do they need? What do they react to? What do they like done in what way? So we have the conversation about expectations. Make sure you know how they expect to work with you. When do they expect you to be in the office? How long do they expect you to work? You also tell them how you would prefer to work, and you find the middle ground and make sure that both of you are well aware of your working patterns so that no one is ever caught by surprise by one not being available when they're supposed to be available. And then third, be a team player. It's not enough to just appease the boss or the main person who's got the say. Make sure your teammates like you. Make sure you work well with your team, because your team feeds into the general perception that people have of you. No one likes a smart person who's unhelpful. No one likes that clever person who just wants to work on their own and doesn't want to help anyone else. Make sure each time that you are being a team player. And this is not only just to people who are above you, even peer-to-peer, trainees, juniors together. Peer-to-peer review is a common thing nowadays. People want to see if you are actually genuinely a good person or you only suck up to the power that be. So make sure that even within your group or your level, you are a team player and you're that person that people can go to. Offer to help your co-workers when they have a problem. So maybe they now have an engagement that they need to attend to and there's work that needs to be done and they're failing to see how they can fit it around. If you have the capacity to help them, just, offer to help. This is not to say take on more work than you can, than you have space and time to do, but to just say where you can, where you have capacity, just lend a helping hand. And also in a high pressure environment like mine, there are going to be cases where there's a lot of work that needs to be done and not enough time. And so people are staying behind late in the office. Whereas you could go and work from home and produce the same amount of work. If the rest of the team is generally staying at the office to get something done or push along a deadline, just stay with them as well, go through the motions of working late hours together. And that way you come back stronger and you come back as part of the team. And then fourth, be valuable, not just useful. So people who are useful are just usually just busy doing A, B, C, D, touching here and there. They're doing something that is useful, that is going to drive things across the line. The people who are valuable are actually contributing in terms of adding value to the work product that is being done. Don't just do the bare minimum. Go a step further. Be proactive. Show initiative. Show that, you are thinking of the bigger picture and that you want to make sure that everyone who's working on this drives the point across, drives, the project to the finish line. Identify issues before they become a problem and try and solve them. And then also, whenever you receive a task and you've done the task and you've gotten review and feedback and it's fine, always ask what you can do next for the next step. That way, people see that you think about the bigger picture and you think about the progress of the matter as a whole and not just your small, unique part. And then lastly, this cannot be overstated enough. You just have to build strong relationships. You never know how someone that you've worked with on a very small, minute case is going to open doors for you. And how do you do this? Attend work socials. Sometimes they're so irritating, they're mundane, but I try and go and mix and mingle and get to know people off when their guard is down, when they're not thinking of pushing deadlines, and they get to know you as well as a social being. Another thing that I used to do a lot as a junior is that each week I'll make sure that I schedule 30 minutes in my week to meet someone who's a senior and just have a coffee with them. Just have like a light-hearted conversation about their career, their progression and what they're trying to do. And that person will always remember you as someone who was keen, someone who was interested, someone who used to show initiative in order to learn, about the career. And then one other point that I think is important is to keep in touch with your colleagues. Keep in touch with, for example, the people that you went to uni with. You don't know where people end up in life. And it's possible that some of the people that you went to university with end up working for clients. And it's also very useful in case one day you want to move to Facebook as well. If you've kept in touch with the people that you were in uni with, then they'll be able to guide you along. So yeah, these are the few tips that I have that I wish someone had told me earlier in my career, but I'm grateful I've come to learn. And I hope that these will be helpful to you. As always, thank you so much for getting to this point in the video. I really, really appreciate your support. If you liked the video and you found it valuable, please like, please comment, and please share so that we grow this community. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys again next time. Goodbye.